Hello, I'm Jamie and this is Mike.
Now, a while back, we got our chefs James and Ben to review this, an immersion circulator, which basically keeps a pot of water at a constant specific temperature.
If you're posh, you'd call it sous vide, and if you're French, you'd call it under vacuum.
You put what you want to cook in an airtight or vacuum bag, and you submerge it in the water at a very specific temperature.
And the immersion circulator keeps the temperature constant, so you physically cannot overcook whatever it is you're cooking.
And could help normals like us get chef-level results by dunking chicken in a bag in a pot of water.
But is it really that easy? And can our two chefs do that whilst cooking some slightly unconventional dishes?
That is the question.
Let's go like super classic. Wouldn't have done it like that.
Nice bit of cod loin. We've got salt, pepper, lemon peel, parsley and butter. Backpack.
I don't know how to use this.
Now, we bought that backpack machine years ago and it was about 30 quid. It's quite a cheap one. The other alternative is a Ziploc bag, and all you need to do is submerge it into a cold bowl of water and it will push all the air out, and then you can Ziploc it. So you can get it that way as well. It's a bit more fiddly, but very, very possible.
I didn't know that.
51 degrees Celsius for about half an hour for the cod. Should cook it all the way through. Top tip, the great thing about sous vide is it traps in all the flavour. But it does mean you have to use fresh ingredients. If you're using fish that's on its last legs and it already smells a bit funky, it's only going to get funkier when you cook it because it all gets trapped in.
I'm not sure what I'm looking for from this fish because I don't think I've ever had white fish sous vide before. Hopefully like really delicious, flaky, moist fish.
So the fish is done. You don't want to leave it in there for too long, but then you can take it out the bag, and it should be covered in that lovely seasoned parsley, lemon, butter. Question is it any better?
It is about as juicy as it could be. If you cooked this fish perfectly, you'd probably get as good a result as that, you know. But it's so much easier to cook it perfectly in that.
Result? Next up, beef in the form of fillet steak, probably more familiar for sous vide and cooking in a water bath. And this we're going to cook to a perfect medium rare.
Steak, rosemary, garlic, salt and pepper.
Simple. Now, when it comes to the fish, we put the butter in there. With the steak, you don't really need any added oil or fat because we're not going to serve it straight out the bag. When it's finished in the bag, it will look very anemic. Then we'll sear it in a very hot pan with fat. You can cook steak 101 ways, but in order to get a perfect medium rare in the middle, you will almost certainly slightly overcook the outer edge as heat goes through. This way, you eradicate that and the whole thing will be exactly 54 degrees. 54 degrees
for
an hour. I'm not impressed with that.
We might have our first fail.
I think we overcooked that in the pan. I think it needed 30
yeah,
seconds.
I think it's in the pan, because all of that's overcooked.
Yeah.
Let's see if it tastes any good. Yeah.
Oh,
Hot or pan to seal it.
oh. Sorry, Ben.
It tastes good. Next up, pork fillet.
Famously difficult to cook.
Because a lot of people are scared of having it rosy pink in the middle.
Which is the best way to have it.
Which is the best way to have it. If you know where it's come from, it's good and it's fresh, absolutely. And again, how do you avoid overcooking the pork on the outside before it gets perfect in the middle?
Pork fillet can be super dry.
So we're going to put it in a bag with a slice of ginger, garlic, kaffir lime, a little bit of fish sauce and some soy. Again, for the sake of demonstration, we're doing single portions here, but this is a really easy way of cooking entire chunks of pork fillet.
So again, we're not using any fat in that because we're going to seal it off, right?
Yes. Pork fillet needs 57 degrees for about an hour. You can get all the temperatures on the app that comes with one of these, or if you just basically Google, you'll end up with a really good choice of options. CHEFS is a really good one that's got lots of very, very well tested options. At this point, you'd be forgiven for thinking dog food. And this is why, when you're cooking meats, like the pork belly, like the steak, like the pork fillet, you have to sear it in a pan. Pork fillet, super hot pan, and we're going to add in the juices from the bag and a little bit of palm sugar. And that one is our Thai flavours with pork fillet at 57 degrees for an hour. Already interesting texture just to look at.
Yeah, and actually touch as well. Cheers.
Can't deny that's a moist bit of pork fillet.
That's a great bit of pork fillet.
Like, if you just cut that with a table knife, it literally cuts like butter.
That is absolutely delicious.
Number 4 is pork belly. Treated very differently to pork fillet. It's a tough cut. It's got a lot of fat in it, but you want to cook it for a long, slow time. This was cooked for 12 hours at 75 degrees and it ended up like this. This was then put in the fridge. The good thing is that will now keep in the fridge for several days. So you've seen how we vat packed before, easy enough. Pork belly, thyme, lemon, at which point we put it in the fridge with a weight on it so it's compressed. And now we can begin to cook this. This is now fridge cold, but cooked.
Why the weight?
A, look nice, but also a flat surface so when it goes back in your pan, you can crisp up the skin and get a nice flat bit of skin. You can see the jelly that's come out of it. You actually don't need that. So all you really want to do is warm the whole thing up.
So it's gone into a warm pan over a very low heat. Turn the heat up to about medium and just cook it really, really slowly. So I'm looking for like meat that's falling apart, really crispy skin, rendered fat. You should just be able to eat the whole thing and it'd be delicious. Oh, the fat is well rendered.
You can see where you could almost pull it, but it's still really succulent.
It's so herby. Like, you can taste every flavour that's been put into the bag with that. It's the same again, like you can cook amazing pork belly, but takes a long time, but it's really easy and it looks really good as an end result.
Definitely success. Now, when I was researching, this one excited me. Creme Brulee.
You did research.
And poached pears. So,
Creme Brulee.
Creme Brulee, simple mix, egg yolks, sugar, vanilla extract, whisked up with double cream. That is going to go into jam jars that you've got lids for.
I get it, water bath.
And they will sit in the water bath. And the pears, peeled, date syrup, honey whiskey, these are vat packed, also 80 degrees, very convenient. Ooh. Another advantage of the water bath, if it's the same temperature, you can have multiple things in there at the same time. These need 90 minutes, these need 45. Dessert ready, once both have cooled. They go in there for 90 minutes, and that goes in there for 45. So when they came out, it had a wobble where I would have been scared to have tipped it up, but it's definitely set.
He's gone rogue. He's trying it already. We haven't done sexies. That's probably hot. Looks pretty good.
That there looks pretty good. And again, I think the difference with sous vide and just bain-marie in the oven is the edge should be the same as the middle. I don't think the end result is necessarily better, like the cod, if you can do it perfectly. But I think anyone can do that. Small jam jars, lid on, put them in, 90 minutes, same temperature, pull them out, it will always work.
The thing is, if you poached that pear in a normal liquid, like, it would be almost impossible to get that because you'd have to have a lot of liquid, so you'd have to have wine or water or something, in addition to the whiskey, in addition to the date syrup. Whereas that, you need, what, like a couple of tablespoons of whiskey, a tablespoon of date syrup, and you have the perfectly poached pear, and it keeps the flavour.
Having just had dessert, we're going to move on to potatoes and carrots, and that might sound like an odd order, but it's because each time we've been increasing the temperature of our water bath, and we're going to make mash in a bag. So for this mash, we're going to put everything in that we want in the finished mash. Potatoes, milk, butter, salt, white pepper.
Ben, tell me how to cook these baby carrots.
84 degrees, 1 hour, whereas the mash is 90 degrees, 2 hours. And here's the test. The potatoes are cooked. You can still see they're in chunks, quite hot. You can see the butter, you can see the cream, but you should
No, what are you doing?
just be able to
What
mash
are
it
you
in the bag.
doing? No. Are you going to do it? Oh, that's not a pipe. No, you're not. You.
Potatoes, 90 degrees, 2 hours with milk and butter.
I was thinking more emoji. You went for more like cowpat.
Before we taste this one, I just want to say about mashed potato, I so rarely make it home because I can't be bothered. If I could make small individual portions of mash that would freeze well, that you could just quickly reheat as you only go through that hassle once, then it's good, if it's good mash. Don't judge me on how lumpy it is because you were rushing me.
That is tasty. It's lumpy, but there's nothing to say that you couldn't put that through a mill or mash it, not in the bag.
The question I would say is, why would you bother? If you're going to go through the effort of milling it and mashing it, what's the advantage of having it in the bag? And that's the bit I'm least convinced by this one.
It's so buttery.
It's easy, tasty. I wouldn't say it's better.
You're not convinced?
Carrots, 84 degrees, an hour.
You could pan roast these afterwards, couldn't you? In butter, or glaze them.
Or some fresh herbs through them or something like that.
But in theory, these should be like the most carroty things in the world.
The purple has slightly spread onto the other stuff. Straight out the bag, served hot, or chilled down, ideal in salads. I mean, carroty.
I wouldn't choose them over some delicious, looked after, parboiled carrots that you then glaze, and you're looking after them every step of the way. I've been surprised by some of these, in that they've worked better than I thought, especially the fish. The mashed potato is interesting.
I definitely agree with which ones I think worked best, and the pork belly was outstanding.
Oh, the pork
I absolutely would use the creme brulee option again because I think it's easier and less risky than a bain-marie. The fish was brilliant, but for me, it's more about how intense the flavours are inside. Some brilliant successes today, but far from perfect. The question is, do you enjoy watching us test and experiment with these kind of things? If you do, comment down below. What else would you like to see us test, push to the limits, or experiment with?
So, get commenting, get liking.
And if you're new here, then subscribe. If you aren't new here and you haven't already subscribed, have you click the little bell so you get notifications every time we upload a video? No, I didn't think so. Click the bell.
And season 4 of the Sorted Podcast Feast Your Ears is out, and it's available on iOS and Android apps.
All info is in the description box down below.
And they're released every Friday at 4 p.m.
Da 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 da. Boo!
Disappointment.
Where can you buy chicken broth in bulk?
I don't know.
The stock market. Come on, the stock market.
I was expecting a brothel pun, but...
A brothel!
As we mentioned, Sorted is just run by a group of friends, so if you like what we're doing, then there are loads of ways that you can support us and get more involved. Everything you need to know is linked below. Thanks, and see you in a few days.
Ben, take it away.